Volleyball continues to reach new heights across Nebraska, if that's even possible. And as we enter the 25-26 season, two of the nation's premier programs begin a new era. Nebraska and Creighton made headlines in the offseason with big coaching changes, and also with the Huskers ranked #1 in the preseason and the Blue Jays at number 12, expectations are sky high. Add in the rise of pro volleyball with stars like Jordan Larson leading the charge, and the state's impact on this sport has never been greater. Tonight, we preview what's next on the state of volleyball. And welcome to the State of Volleyball 2025. Pleased to be joined now by the new head coach of Nebraska Volleyball, Danny Busboom Kelly. I'm curious, this is probably the 5th time I've seen you preseason at events, interviews, media day. How much more, just give me a percentage, how much more are you doing at Nebraska than what you did at Louisville?
Media-wise?
Yeah.
Like 75% more. I feel like the last couple of years at Louisville, the media started getting involved, and that was great, but it's nothing like here, that's for sure.
Has it been a surprise how much it is?
Yes, and I was even talking to our SID about 8 years ago when I was an assistant here and how much bigger it's even gotten since then, and then it was huge. So I think it just continues to get bigger and bigger.
I guess, I mean, it's indicative of how popular the sport is in the state, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Just the popularity, and people care and they want to be informed. Yeah. It's a great thing. It's time-consuming, but it's great.
All right, let's talk about the right side. What do you have some options there. What qualities are you looking for? What do you need from that right side position?
You know, number one, some consistency. You know, number two, a great blocker. And number three, you got to be able to kill a high ball and out of system and take some pressure off our outside hitters. So those are probably three of the most important things. And, you know, anybody or any of those right side options we have are great people, great teammates. So I'm not worried about that aspect. It's more just who's efficient and who is confident to take a swing in a big moment.
Do they each do different things, or can you find all of that in one person?
We can find all of it in one person. What's hard is I think they all can do all of it. So they're all very talented and are having great preseasons.
Is this a problem, or do you have enough balls?
No, we do not have enough balls.
You're right. So speaking of that, let's talk about the left side, because again, so much talent over there. Yeah. Do you plan on going in with a solid number 2 behind Harper?
You know, honestly, I think Harper's getting pushed a lot this year, which is great for her and for our team. And I don't know if there'll be a solid number 2. I think there are all 4 of the outsides are playing great, and you can tell the amount of work that Skylar Pierce and Siegler put in this summer. Just they look great. And then Taylor, you know, is playing better than she was in the spring. So it's pretty awesome to just see them battle it out. And every day after practice, you're like, oh, I wonder what the stats look like, because they're all playing so well. It's hard to really say who's better than the other until you look at the stats.
Does that give you an opportunity to have a quick hook, or
yes?
Does it?
You know, I think that's going to be a strength of our team. If we want to make a big run in December, and you know, have to make sure that our team understands we're not afraid to take risks and make changes. And it could be for a certain team, it could be for a certain moment. They need to be ready, because I'm not afraid to make those changes or try something or take a couple risks.
And I'm guessing, given what we saw out of Campbell, Flynn, and Ord, that applies to the setter position as well.
Yes, I mean, setter's always unique. You know, you want your setter to feel like a quarterback and that they have a long leash and they're not going to get pulled for mistakes. So I think it's more going to be a game plan going into that match than, you know, somebody's not playing well and they're getting pulled.
Right. And you mentioned it before, but do you think this could be a matchup situation where what do we need against this team? Do we need a bigger block? Mm-hmm. Is that part of the equation?
I definitely think so. And just, you know, changing up the energy, or we need to give certain players some breaks, or certain players aren't feeling their best. You know, that's, again, going to be a strength of our team. It feels like, you know, when the sickness starts to hit in November, you know, as long as we have 6 healthy players, we're probably going to be okay.
You inherited a coaching staff, right? So you didn't bring your team in. Meskey obviously took over the job at Louisville. How have their roles changed, and how has that been accepted by the staff?
The staff has been great, phenomenal. I feel very blessed that they all stayed, especially the life that changes I was going through with moving and having a baby. And if I would have had to hire a whole new staff, it would have been wild. So just having them here and explaining to them kind of how their roles are going to change, and none of them batted an eye, and they're like, okay, this sounds great. And I feel like we got a great groove going in practice and with our positions. And I think all of them are really appreciating learning something new and being challenged in a different way.
I noticed in Ord you were out there with the setters pre. Are you taking over the setters now?
Yes.
Do you like that? Obviously.
Yeah, that's what I did for the last 8 years at Louisville, and I feel pretty confident that it's the right move to have the head coach, especially if the head coach has the tools to coach the setters, to have them very involved in the setter position.
Yep. So you come out of the block ranked number 1 in the country, and I heard somebody said, what do you think about that? And your comment was, I had a vote. I voted as number 1. I guess there are different ways to manage expectations, and one is just to embrace it, and that seems like that's the way you've chosen to handle it.
For sure. Embrace it. I think our team knows we're right now, before any whistles have been blown, that we're number 1 on paper, but they're also mature enough to know that that doesn't mean anything, and it can change a lot throughout the year. And I told them, just because we're number 1, right, or I believe we're number 1 top to bottom, but that doesn't necessarily mean our 8 starters are number 1 every night, and that another team can't play great and beat us. It's just a number in front of your name. And again, lucky to have a very mature team that's been through this many times.
So you're looking for leadership, obviously, and that's one of the key components of having a solid team is player leadership. And I heard you mention earlier that you thought part of the collapse against Penn State was there was a lack of leadership. How are you going about rectifying that and creating leaders with this team?
First and foremost is really showing them, teaching them, talking to them about a player-led team, and making sure they are taking care of details and things themselves. I think that'll go a long way. So in matches, there's a little bit more trust, and they understand each other a little bit more. Other than that, there's not a lot that we're doing. It's more putting them in tough situations in practice and seeing who emerges and giving them the floor to speak, and giving them the moments to call their own timeouts and to make changes in practice.
Does it have to be organic?
I think so. That's the best teams I've been on and the best teams I've coached. It's been organic leaders, and, nothing's been forced. And, the theme is always interesting. Some years you have a great theme, some years it's forced. So, it's okay if there's not this underlying theme. It's kind of like the leadership. It's okay if we don't go into the season saying, this is our leader. Like, we can wait and kind of see what happens.
How much does it help that you've walked in their shoes? Like, you've been a Nebraska volleyball player, you understand the pressure from the state, the expectations. And really, we say pressure and expectations, but it's really just more about how the state wants you to do well.
Yeah, I think it helps a ton. That I've been there as a player and a coach at Nebraska before, so I understand it from both sides. And now I get to be the head coach, which is a new role, but I was able to do a lot of that at my previous job at Louisville, building a program, and where expectations started to become pretty lofty. So I've been there, and I also have perspective now that I've been a player, a coach, led a great program to high expectations, and I'm just doing it here. And I think it makes me pretty relatable and more human to our players.
How's it different now than it was when you played?
When I played, quite a bit different with I think the social media has really, I just think that's made Nebraska volleyball like a bigger reach. It's not just the state of Nebraska anymore. There's people emailing us all the time from all over the country, that Harper Murray's my favorite player, or we can't wait to see you play in California, and we're lifelong Husker fans. So I really just think it's built not just this amazing fan base and culture in Nebraska, but a nationwide fan base.
I think the early dialogue was this is going to look different. It's going to be faster. The offense is going to be different. You've kind of tempered, those comments and said it's maybe a little different, but it's not going to be that much.
Yeah.
What will be different? What will people notice?
Well, I do think they'll notice a little bit of a faster offense, but not to somebody who hasn't watched Nebraska volleyball for years. This is not that much quicker than even last year. I do think they'll notice us forcing the ball to the middles a lot more, and Andy Jackson, Becca Alec, and our 2 freshman middles they all can score, so we're going to get them the ball a lot. Maybe a little more set, like we'll change things up, with running different combos, but this isn't going to be an every play type thing. It's going to be a once in a while. So I don't know if they'll notice a way different offense.
Yeah.
They're going to see some tweaks and see some fun things, but not every play.
Well, I'll tell you, the D-ball to Andy, that lit up Twitter. I'm sure we'll see some
I
of
hope we get to see that again. That was like the perfect situation. She made her serve. We got an easy ball back so we could get her a great set.
Yeah.
So that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
She might serve 20 times and we never even get the chance to set her. So
yeah. Okay, quick answer. When the fans watch the Huskers this year, what's one thing that you hope they see that's a reflection of what you've been doing and you've coached?
A lot of joy, and then a lot of risk taking. So again, firing the ball to the middle, and just the lack of fear on the court. And that's the way I coach and how I want our players to play. So I hope the fans can see that, and hope they give them some grace, especially early. It's like, oh, that maybe didn't work, but we don't know until we try it, and we want to be able to work on those things in high-pressure situations.
There is as much anticipation for this year's season than I can remember in a long time. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Great to see you again.
Thank you. You too.
And welcome back to State of Volleyball, joined now by another first-year head coach in Brian Rosen of Creighton. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm guessing 4 years ago now, when you took the assistant job, you had no idea this would be open in 3 years.
No idea this would be open in 10 to 20 years. Honestly, I just knew that this was an incredible program, and I just wanted to learn from Coach Booth in this program. And so to be where I am right now is not something I saw before, but just feel incredibly blessed to be here.
When Kirsten gave you the news, what do you think?
I had, some notice. She had told me before that this was something that she was looking into, and that if she did look into it, that she saw me in this role. And then it was like, okay, well, yeah, maybe it'll happen, but probably not. And then it got a little more serious and a little more serious. And so when it finally happened, honestly, it was sad tears at first, because she's just such a great friend of mine. And the biggest thing was that we get to still be friends. And she's not going anywhere. She's right here in Omaha.
Taking over in a familiar environment is certainly comforting, but I imagine things still change for you. What's been the biggest change for you?
Just, being the decision maker. I think when it first happened, we were in the spring season still, and we were in practice mode. So I've run the practices here for the last few years. So that, I think, our players felt really comfortable with. I felt really comfortable with. So I think that transition was so helpful. So the timing of when she left, I think allowed our team to take a breath of okay, this still feels very normal. I told the team then, where it's going to start feeling different is when we do individual meetings. The main person's going to be different, and as we make decisions for playing time and things like that will be different. And doing interviews like this is different. And so definitely where I've managed my time has felt a little bit different. But as far as who I am as a coach and wanting to build relationships has been the same.
So you lose Nora Sis, you lose Kendra Waite. Obviously, you don't replace players like that, but where are you going to find production outside of Ava?
We feel great about where we are. Ava Martin comes back. She's really, really good too. Multi-All-American. She won a gold with USA this summer, so she brings just a presence and a leadership to our gym. Jaya Johnson was huge for us all season. And what I love is she played her best at the end of the year. I mean, in that Texas match and even the Penn State match, she was incredible. She's such a presence at the net, and we've talked to her, and she wants a bigger load this year and knows that she's ready for it. We have two outsides right now, like really fighting for that other spot, and Destiny and Abby. And as we look to the Penn State match here coming up, like that'll be one position that's really close right now. In the middle, we feel great as well. We have three incredible middles. Kiara comes back for her 6th year. She's getting almost as old as we are. So we were fortunate she got a COVID year and had a redshirt year, and so Kiara comes back in the middle. We bring in Eloise Brandewie, a transfer with 2 years of starting experience at Ohio State. And then Nora Wirtz, no one got to see last year. She's a redshirt freshman, incredible size, physicality, grew up on a farm, and she's just that kind of culture, and she brings just a great presence for us at the net.
You open up with Penn State, you have Texas, you have Kansas, first 3 games, all ranked teams.
Yeah.
Have you sent Kirsten a thank you letter yet? Or?
Yeah, and she'll say it too. I jokingly say like that was her going away present to me, but we made all those decisions together, and I think that's something I really appreciated about our relationship. Even when I was the assistant, she really looked to us to help her with those things. So when we got the call for the first serve, like, hey, do we want to do this? Like, we were all in.
When people see this team play in December, what do you hope they see that would be indicative of your mark on this team?
I just think that they're relentless to everything, and that's what I've seen in the gym already through this preseason, that points are hard in our gym. We're running down everything. We're getting touches on blocks, on digs. Like I want fans or the average spectator that just turns on one of our matches to be like, wow, like they just go after everything. They're scrappy, they show a lot of grit. I think that's what we want like our team to be known for, is that they just leave it all out there.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, have a great season. And welcome back to State of Volleyball 2025. We've saved the best for last. Now joined by Huskers Illustrated volleyball beat writer Lincoln Arneal, who also has the Volleyball State podcast along with Jeff Sheldon. Thanks for joining us.
You bet. Pleasure to be here.
It's been a really slow off season for you. There's been really nothing to cover.
I don't know what we're going to talk about here today. Yeah, it's the same thing, just run it back, right?
Exactly. So much has changed, not only at Nebraska, but at Creighton and in pro volleyball, and I want to get to all of that. But maybe at a high level, just start with, casual fans have been keeping up with this. What's something they might know about each one of these programs, Nebraska and Creighton, that they may not be aware of currently?
I think that the headliners change. You got new head coaches at both Nebraska and Creighton, but I think they have such strong cultures left in place by the previous regime that they're not going to skip a beat too. I think there is some talent turnover. The player turns over a little bit every year too, but the culture is still strong, and I think there's still going to be players for both conference crowns that they're chasing.
Yeah. So let's start with Nebraska. What kind of player development, maybe underlying theme do you see with Nebraska that's going to become a major talking point in October or November?
I think it's their depth. I mean, they have 17 players on the roster, one of the largest that they've had in almost a decade. And the freshman class that's coming in is really going to elevate Nebraska, too. I mean, you may not see one person start every single match at a position all year because they have that depth and players that can give them different looks and really elevate them to a different level.
I think that's going to be different for fans this year.
Yeah.
Because I think, DBK was just saying, you may not see the same starter week in and week, and she will probably have a very quick hook.
Yeah, and that's one thing she developed at Louisville, was the reputation just to try little things, experiment a bit too. So I think that'll, as long as the players buy into that and she's consistent with why she's making changes and communicates that to them, I think that'll be a real strength for Nebraska.
It seems like that's like at the macro level, and at the micro level, it's that same approach where she's lets her players be free. Go experiment, go be aggressive, take chances.
Yeah, we heard that from Taylor Lanford earlier this offseason too, about how Danny wants them to take more risk, wants to hit line, go high hands, do some jam shots. So really, I mean, and she's okay if you're trying that, if you're taking those risks and it's within the system, it really sets them up for success and to be more variable as well too.
And we'll find out where they are early.
Yeah, they got those 3 big matches in the first 2 weeks against top 10 teams, and I think a team like Nebraska, with all of the experience they have returning, it'll be a good test because they want to set the bar high early, and they'll get some tests to do that.
What did you think about Danny's approach of embracing the #1 ranking and saying, hey, I've owned this #1 too?
Yeah, I think that's great too. that's the way that Danny is. She's very matter of fact, very direct, but does it in a very disarming way too. It's not like, yeah, we're number one right now. That doesn't mean we're going to be number one in December where we want to be number one. But I mean, it's just, she's very direct and honest about it too, and does it in a very, like I said, disarming way.
What do you think ends up happening with the setter position?
I think it's Bergen's to lose. I mean, Campbell Flynn brings a lot of exciting potential to that with her height, with her size, and being left-handed. I think just a lot of different things you can do there. But I think Bergen Reilly has proven the last couple years that she can perform at elite level. I mean, she's been to back-to-back Final Fours, a national title match. And I think her game's going to be elevated by both having Danny coaching her and having Campbell push her a little bit too. So I think this is Bergen's system to run to, and we'll see good things from her because of the support system she has around her.
Okay, real quick responses on the next three positions, okay? Right side Riddle, who wins that?
Allie checked to start, but I think we see Virginia down the road.
Libero.
I'll go Lainey Troboy.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And who is the other left side along with Harper Murray?
Again, I think we'll see things done. I think by the end of the year, it'll be Toria Sigler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The freshman.
I like her 6 rotations. I like her physicalness at the net. Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears now here. Let's jump over to Blue State, to Creighton. Boy, you talk about tough opening schedules. I mean, for not an experienced team coming back, this is tough.
Yeah. Well, hey, here's the defending national champions who added one of the best transfer portal editions. So good luck. But I mean, at least they'll have somewhat of a friendly crowd, I think, playing in Lincoln. So that'll be that. Then they go up to Wisconsin and play a couple tough matches up there too. So they'll be tested early. They'll find out their mettle. Like you said, there's a lot more turnover over there. They lost a little bit more. So they'll do a lot more learning, but it may be a little bit tougher path forward.
We've heard a lot about how it might change under Danny Buss from Kelly. How do you think it changes for Creighton under Brian Rosen?
Again, I don't know if it'll change a lot too, because the assistants stay the same, and Booth really did a great job of building that culture too. I mean, Angie Oxley-Barons is there as an assistant coach, and really they have that standard of excellence that they've built up over winning the Big East over the past decade. So I think that again, it's new energy and it's a different. I've seen Brian coach a little bit too. Don't know him extremely well too, but I think he's very highly thought of in the coaching world too, and Kristen really trusted him too. So I think that again, there may be some new energy, and he'll kind of bring that. Just that'll happen regardless of who's in there with a coaching change.
I love the Izzy Ashburn ad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as a setter coach.
Yeah, I think too. I mean, she's familiar with kind of the style of play too, and she's familiar with that too. So I think that again, she's coming off of a career where she just played a couple of years ago and has a lot of experience playing in high-level matches, that she can make those connections with the players.
Okay, one more shift. Let's go to pro volleyball in the state, because boy, has there been some news there.
Been a busy month, yes,
yeah.
for sure.
Let's start with Nebraska's former coach, and I'm forgetting his name, but he's taken over.
John
Cook.
Yes, John Cook. I've heard a lot of stories about him out doing cowboy stuff in Wyoming, but yeah, it's kind of, you thought he was going to retire. Nope, he's coming back. He's put together, I thought, a very good roster for the Omaha Supernovas, and also going to be part owner too. So,
wow.
He's not sitting back and just doing his horse thing. He's being active too, and I think that was really aggressive to start the free agency period, get some really high-level players to come back to Omaha.
And maybe one of the biggest fan favorites over the years at Nebraska is coming back to play.
Yes.
In Merritt Beeson coming back. That's news.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of their first additions that they announced too. I mean, she was drafted #1 overall by Atlanta, had a fairly good rookie season too. I mean, it's also a lot to ask physically to play a college season and then go play a pro season right off. So hopefully she'll be able to have a little more physical recovery time between now and the next season. But really impressive, and I think that'll get the crowds going, and maybe they could sell out the CHI Health Center too. That's been their goal.
Wow. And Jordan Larson,
now
taking over a different role.
Yeah, I think. Eventually, I think that she's looking long term too. I think she'll play. She'll play this year for Love Nebraska now. Love Nebraska, not Love Omaha anymore. But I think she's looking long term on what she can do. I think she won't really have a lot of different roles and responsibilities this year. But again, it just wants to improve the game and build it, and looking forward.
Can Creighton make the Elite Eight?
this year, I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, Ava Martin has the talent to do that. And if she gets hot, she can. It really depends on where they land out. Like the new transfer Setter, if she can really seamlessly transition in, they can. But I would not put money on that right now.
And will Nebraska win it all?
I think so. I think this is the year. They have the right experience, the right veteran, a lot of difference makers coming in, and I think Danny just brings a different energy and excitement and level of comfort too. She removes a lot of the pressure, and last time I was in Kansas City, they won. Last time Nebraska had a coaching change, they won. So I don't know if that's in the stars or what, but it's looking good.
Make sure you check out his podcast, Volleyball State. Thanks for joining us, Lincoln Arneal.
You bet. Thanks, Larry.
The showcase and the spectacle of volleyball in this state just keeps getting better every year. A special thanks to Danny Busboom-Kelly, to Brian Rosen, and to Lincoln Arneal for joining us on the State of Volleyball. I'm Larry Putney, and we'll see you very soon, right in your home for volleyball, here on Nebraska Public Media.